Good morning and welcome to another edition of Spirit of the Valley. We're starting our Prouty push, as I call it. We'll have several people from the Prouty, different groups of different events, coming in to announce things about it that you may or may not know. But with me this morning, I'm lucky to start off with the rowing gurus, Rowan Carroll, aptly named, and Karen Reynolds. And they both are the leaders of the pack, I feel. But anyway, we talked a lot about it last year after you did it. And what I want to know is, not only did it sound like it was a huge success, but have you changed it in any way? Has it grown tremendously, or do you know yet?
It's a little too early to tell because I don't know if I think it's true for the Prouty as a whole, but certainly for this new event that it's not, people don't plan that far ahead necessarily. Yeah. The middle of July seems a long way off right now. So it's hard to tell, but our goal is to double the number of rowers this year. And wow. It was a lot of fun, and people had a really great time, and I think word of mouth is spreading.
I was just going to say, do you get the feeling people walked away from here and went home and called their friends and said, oh my gosh, you've got to come up here next year?
Yeah,
definitely.
That's awesome. And I think that's been what the Prouty has counted on for years to get. I think they're going to have to cap it soon on the bikes. So I think
they have been capping it.
They have, and that's where the rowing helped out tremendously.
Absolutely, because people who rode their bikes, many of the rowers had participated before cycling. So we took 150 rowers who were then
off
not
their
cycling.
Bikes.
Yeah.
See, that's what helps. I think. And didn't some people last year do both? Get out of the boat and then get on their bikes? Did I hear that?
That was a little hard to manage. From the
Prouty's
registration,
maybe they wanted
to.
They wanted to. I was thinking someday it'll happen. Yeah. But your route can't change, right?
No.
I mean, you're 10 up and 10 back. You have nowhere to go except across.
Further up.
You could go across 100 times.
We could do an ultimate one year.
Yeah. 200. Yeah. Can you imagine?
Go up to Orford.
Can you imagine 200 miles
in a boat?
Nah. But the thing that resonated was that comment you made about the end of it at the chieftain level. And I went driving by I was going up the chieftain yesterday, and I looked over and I couldn't see the water, but I could tell there must have been a way you kind of knew when you were at parallel places with the finishers.
You can see the cars at different points. Oh. So we could see the cyclists going up the hill, the Chieftain Hill, getting ready to finish.
We just couldn't see you.
And we come around that bend, and then we hit a headwind. So we rode, 17 miles or whatever, and then we could see them going up the Chieftain Hill working hard, and we hit a headwind. And I was like, where's the tailwind when we need it?
I think if the wind changes, you can be lucky enough to get the headwind both ways.
Yes. Another great image that I have from last summer is up at the turnaround at the Line Bridge. Yeah. You had cyclists going across the bridge while the rowers were coming up and turning and coming back down, and there's some great photos of the boats on the river, the bikes crossing the line bridge.
We had people rowing singles, people rowing doubles, we had a quad, we had eights, we had some fours. So every boat category was out on the water. We had high school participants from Lebanon and Hanover. Syracuse sent an alumni boat. We had some boats come up from Boston. It was...
And those guys probably have recruited from their own little area.
That's definitely
so those
a big thing that last year, we wrote and called and talked and said, organize a trailer, do this and that, and a couple came up. But this year, as of 2 months ago, they already had 2 dedicated trailers coming up for the event, coming from the Boston area.
Yeah, so Boston and wherever else you just said?
Syracuse had an alumni boat.
They borrowed a boat over here.
Yeah.
But a couple of people came over from Maine. I think a good third of the participants were from out of town.
So you may get
Prouty before.
Twice as many out of towners as you had, which is
hopefully,
the goal every year is to go upward, and it never hasn't.
Yeah.
So,
and it was being able to row that long a distance on, the water was flat. It was perfect water. Yeah. 10 miles up, there were stops where you could get out. They had snacks, bananas, sandwiches, drinks, Gatorade. And then at the far end, at the 10-mile mark, we could all get out of the boat. There was enough space that we could either, if you're in a single or a double, put your boat on the bank. The 8s we brought into the side.
Yep.
And so you could stretch. So it was, and it felt like a party up there.
Yeah.
I bet it did.
I
Because-
think one thing that surprised me the most was, since, as Rowan said, 20 miles it's you don't normally row that long, and I thought, oh, maybe half the people will go the whole distance. But what I forgot was that there are so many different ways to participate in it. So you could row hard and make it a real challenge, and not many people would survive sort of that.
Exactly.
Or you could do what a lot of people did, which is mosey up the river, stop at every place, get out,
little
sing
picnic.
songs. Yeah. Especially some of the kids' boats, they just had a ball, and they all made it all the way. I think 95% of the people went 20 miles.
The beauty of this whole thing is it is in some people's hearts competitive, but to me it's just symbolic and what it's for, and do it at your own pace and make it fun. You see people that are hardcore, and they have times every year that they're trying to beat. I totally get that, but for me, it's a lot prettier if you stop and smell the roses, literally. Take it at your own pace, and I'm going with one person, and it's a guy who I rode with last year who came. I had gotten up the Chieftain, and I was behind him and my husband, and he was a gallant, and he came back down and said, "I'm going."
Wow, came back.
So he did the
with you.
Chieftain twice.
Wow.
So he came down and said, "I'm here to escort you." I said, "I'm doing fine. I'm just slower than you guys." And this year I have a new bike, so I'm going to leave him in the dust.
Yeah, you're not competitive.
No, we're not competitive. But he and I are doing the 50 together. My husband is doing the 35. So he's getting extraordinary kidding, but he takes it well. So there's not anything much you can do to change what you do except have more numbers.
Have more numbers.
Would you have more stops, or would you do anything?
No, there were plenty of stops. There were plenty of stops. What we've talked about ways to enhance the stop at the top end, at the 10-mile mark.
Okay.
Whereas Rowan said, it became this very festive party-like atmosphere up there, and
So you need a grill.
Music. We need music.
Music
We had a
and-
lot of food. There was a lot of food.
God.
But we're thinking music, and I don't know.
I think that would be so cool.
I
People are
don't
going to
think-
want to go up there and stop on their bikes too.
Yes,
Party.
we didn't realize how many people would stop and pause there for quite so long. So, a little more space for boat racks, maybe a little bit longer dock.
And those are all doable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're going to do it, make it a party. It's like tailgating halfway through an event versus before it. But I think the music would make it. You'd get all the bikers over there. They'd never finish.
I don't think the course goes by there, fortunately.
I think it's fortunately.
Make
What
it
fun.
make some, and because it's after you've rode 10 miles, you really do want to get out and
stretch.
I was going to say, you
and
have
get
to.
off your seat.
You have
and,
to.
Yeah.
Bikers feel that way. I mean, I know. I don't mind a few stops, just for that reason. Not so much stretching as just getting off my old bottom.
Yes.
Especially because for most people, that's the maximum distance they usually row is 10 miles.
Right.
And so then they got to go do that again. So it's
Now,
nice
do they
that-
do 10-mile in regattas?
Not really. No.
nothing that
no,
long.
No, the longest, in general, the longest races are 3 miles.
3, okay. I didn't know
But
that.
it's in the middle of the sprint season.
Yeah.
So the races are either 1,000 meters, 1,500, or 2,000.
Okay.
So this is a completely different length than the summer racing
The
distance.
whole endurance thing kicks in.
Yeah.
Which is why the stops, why
Yeah.
the encouragement of using them.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
got to.
and we had safety launches out there, which was great. So you didn't need to worry being out on the water so long.
One thing less on your mind.
Yeah, and the boats weren't being followed by launches, which is unusual because for the high school kids, they always have someone following them. Whereas this, you just set them off and they go
Knowing
the 20 miles.
and there's plenty of help around should
Yeah.
be needed.
Yep, there were 5 or 6 launches on the water. Some of them were sag stops, and then some of them were safety
Now,
launches.
how do you come up with the launches? How do you come up with your escorts and safety people? Where are they
Well,
from?
our big volunteer group is drawn mostly from the Community Rowing Club, Upper
Right.
Valley Rowing
Right.
Foundation, and also from the 2 high school program
Okay.
coaches and parents. And the launches are either owned by UVRF or Dartmouth lent us 2 launches as well.
And you have people that know the boats well enough to be...
Oh, yes. And
the
we had
helm.
on our 3 designated
Yeah.
safety launches, we had the people driving them were EMTs, and they were highly...
Yeah, they were
qualified.
from Lyme Fast Squad.
So they knew boats as well as
They knew boats and they
land.
knew...
That's wonderful. It's one less thing to worry about when you got that many
Oh,
people
yeah.
out
And
there.
they had all the walkie-talkies and...
We were
this,
tied
that,
into
and
the
the
whole
other.
Prouty
Yeah.
safety communication network, so...
And the whole trip over to Richmond, it worked out all right? I know that was
we
a
need to
question
improve
mark that I
that.
might have
We
needed.
need to improve that this
Yeah.
year. We are improving that this year.
Right.
We didn't have enough shuttle buses.
Yeah. Nobody
So-
wants to miss that. They-
Yeah.
I had.
Well, a lot of
I
people
remember-
didn't know about it, but now they know about
Well,
it.
now they know.
And
Yeah.
it was a real eye-opener.
The second
because
party of
that
the
kind
day.
of party is
Well,
something.
it's such. You feel so good when you get there. You feel so proud of yourself, and
Yeah.
and you should, whatever distance you've done. But that balloon arch is something else. It just.
I love that balloon arch. I was thinking we need one
We
at the
need
boathouse
one.
that you could carry your boat through as you finish.
I think
Yes.
you should.
I think we need
I
one
think
of
that
those.
is the symbol of it. It's the same thing they do with the Chad
Yeah.
half marathon. They have something through which you or under which you pass. And I think that balloon, I've taken more pictures of that balloon and
Yeah.
told people that their names were on ribbons hanging up there, and it's just a fabulous symbol.
We could definitely have one in the gate, you know, above the top of the gate. As you
Yeah,
come
it
up.
would. Is it a big white? It wouldn't
Yes,
take,
it's where you walk through.
but so it wouldn't be a big, huge 1,000 balloon deal. It would be.
no.
We
it
could
wouldn't.
make it 1,000 balloons.
Oh, I should know better.
I'm liking that.
But I think that's the kind of thing people get very emotional when they finish.
Yeah.
And people that are biking together, I did it too. We all were trying to stay on our bikes holding hands. It was just I don't know, there's something about it. But I was just telling Rowan earlier, I was going to work with Jean this year on the Ultimate and help get that a little slicker as far as getting people off and getting them back in and with their luggage and with dorms ready. I mean, I guess that it just is an area that is going to be my baby this year. But I
Karen and I both coach Lebanon,
I was just going to bring
and
that
we
up.
are really excited. All our kids are going to do the Prouty this year. Not necessarily rowing. They might bike or walk
Yep.
or row. But we're thrilled. We have 35 high school students. And
It's the Friends of Lebanon crew team.
But
And
they've never done the Prouty.
a lot
or
of
have
them,
they done
Some of them have.
some
Mixed
have and some
bag.
haven't. Some have been doing it for years and some have never heard of it. And
They're all doing it.
they're all going to do it, and hopefully their parents and
See, it just
you know,
ripples.
Yeah,
It just
so
ripples through
I think
families.
we already
and,
have 20 signed up. Maybe it's
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
I always get
that's a
going
big part of our spring
very early
focus.
just to get it done. I don't like fundraising.
Well, we're
So I just
helping
do it
our
real
kids with the fundraising. We are going to have a yard sale on the 26th of May,
Good,
where they all participate, and it'll be a multi-family yard sale here in White River.
good.
And then all of the money we raise, we're going to divide between the kids who participated and put it straight into their Prouty.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Their donation.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
don't just ask their parents for the minimum donation, they're going to raise it themselves.
It's hard.
And the kids are doing a bake sale with
It's
that.
hard, and kids are even less comfortable than I am
Oh,
at
yes.
asking for money.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just go through people I know want to do it, and I've been done for 2 months now. I think I've seen my last one come in. But I just do it
Oh,
to
you're
get it
never
over
done.
with.
You're never
No, I'm
done.
never done,
Okay.
because I'm not done, but I have a couple that are outstanding, and I'm going to be seeing them soon, and I have subtle ways I can bring it up.
Well, we're hoping this is very unsubtle, and
I
we
was
get
gonna
lots
say.
of people
You know,
to the yard sale.
tell them about this yard sale right now, right into that camera.
It will be the morning of May 26th. It will be in White River Junction by the Northern Stage offices.
Oh, round the
We've got-
corner.
Yes, we've got a large space, plenty of parking, indoors if it's raining, and it will be multifamily. I've been
Bake sale.
a bake sale. We've been getting
You?
lots of people to donate.
You, bake sale?
Absolutely.
I'm horrified.
Rowan's award-winning cookies will probably
Well,
be showing.
Rowan did win the King Arthur Bake Off.
Yes.
she's actually doing something for me this week that is beyond, way beyond, because I wanted to commission her for something I'm doing. And I can say it here because he won't see this. That I'm doing a party for my husband this weekend, surprise, after 20 years of hockey coaching, he's done. And I wanted to do something.
And you're celebrating the fact that he's done?
Well, don't tell him
honoring
that.
his 20
I'm
years
honoring,
of service.
I'm doing both. No, he's doing both too. I mean, I think it'll be DT time in the fall. I think he'll get shaky when he isn't there. But I think I was bold, and I'm not usually very bold, but I was bold enough to say to Rowan, could I commission you for some cookies? And I got this fast, talk about fast response teams. Yes!
I said, no, you can't commission me. I'll make them for you
Yeah,
as a gift.
I wanted to do it as a business deal, so I wouldn't feel so bad asking her, but she wouldn't allow that. So anyway, but
Maybe you could donate to her Prouty.
yes, I will.
Appreciation.
There we go. You just answered a question I had about that. Anyway, but no, it's just something that there are going to be hundreds of people there from 20 years worth of kids teams,
Wow.
all the rosters, parents, coaches. So we're going to have fun. I was going to ask you one more thing about the venue, and I can't think of it. Where they get on? Where they? Is it Fullington?
No, it's at Dartmouth.
It's nearer to the college.
It's off of the Dartmouth
Outing
College rowing docks.
Right by the bridge.
By the bridge.
Yeah.
Right by the bridge.
Okay, so it's a little bit longer.
Because bridge to bridge is 10 miles.
Exactly.
No, it's a little bit longer, but we launch a little above the
But
bridge.
you don't want to tell them that ahead.
No. Actually, from the Sculling dock where you launch
Yeah.
from, or the Dartmouth dock, it is 10
It couldn't
miles.
Be, couldn't be better.
That's just a little above the.
It
As
just
long as you
turned
do
out
it go in a
perfectly.
straight line.
Well, that's true
If you
too.
stay like
That's
this,
another issue.
That's true.
And you must have some people that veer off. I mean, not everyone's an expert.
Well, yeah, but there's not really
doesn't
any
matter.
right way or not, and it's hard
No.
to get lost, and
It's-
there's not really any hidden hazards in the river, so that's good too. We do have a neat map though that has all of the sag stops marked, and it has some safety takeout points marked, and there's one place where you go up on one side of an island and come down on the other, but even if you do that, don't do that right, it's still not that
No,
big
I
a
don't think there's a
deal.
right way, wrong way on anything with the party. I think you can get to your 49th mile and say, oh, God, I'm just done. No one's counting.
Yeah.
Just as with the ultimate, Jean was saying last year that they do the 100 up, and they don't necessarily get the whole next 100 in. And no one is watching, no one is asking, and no one cares.
I didn't plan on doing the full 20 last year. I was going out in my single, which I hadn't been rowing very much.
Right.
And I went with a friend, Heidi, and we got to kind of the 5 mile mark, and we were like, oh, let's just do a couple more. So we got to the 7, and then we were at the 7, and we were like, why are we not just finishing this? So we got to the 10.
I think that
and
happens with a lot
it
of
was
people.
just such a gorgeous day.
Well, yeah, it was probably the best day I've ever
Yeah.
been out on the Prouty. I think not a lot of wind, nothing. The year before, we were soaking wet through to our skin before we even crossed the starting line. So,
Yes.
but that almost made it funny and more fun because you couldn't get any wetter.
Yeah.
So you just had to laugh about it.
And then it
puddles
stopped
and
raining for the party.
It stopped raining at the end of it, and the puddles and the mud and the gook, you wore every bit of it home, but so did everyone else.
Badge of honor.
Badge of honor, but so many, everyone's on the same page on this thing. They all have the same goals and they all have the same hopes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, every year we know more people.
Yes.
And it just makes it so much more meaningful to do it. I can't get enough friends to do it. I don't know, they just don't. They think it sounds like it's an outrageous amount of mileage, and I just can't convince them that once you're out there,
Yeah.
it really doesn't feel like it. You
Yeah.
just, the spirit takes over, the whole energy takes over of people going by you and joking and laughing and hi and seeing kids out there on little
Yes.
tag-alongs on the bikes, and something about it just grabs you, and you just say, I'm never going to stop doing this. This doesn't matter what amount. But I envy you. In fact, I want to get on the water, and I've hinted a lot at her, but it hasn't. I want to learn to do it because I row a dinghy all summer long, just a rowboat, about a 2-mile circle of a lake every
The first
day.
Saturday in June, between 10 and noon, is National Learn to Row Day.
Is that June 2nd?
Is it June 2nd
June
or
2nd
June
is a
3rd?
Saturday.
First.
Oh.
No, June 3rd is a Sunday.
It's the June 2nd, between, I think it's going to be 10 to noon.
Okay.
National Learn to Row Day. We will have a couple of 8s, launches, and be giving people the opportunity to try rowing down at the Dartmouth docks.
I need to experience it.
Come.
Need to experience it. It's a great sport, and I find that no matter what form of rowing you're doing, it's probably one of the most efficient fitness
Yes, it is.
pieces there is, because we did a study of that when I was working at River Valley, and that came out as the #1 way to, if you want to maximize your time up there.
Yes.
You're hitting every inch of your body, every single stroke.
Arms, back, legs.
Everything.
Everything.
And brain.
Core.
And brain.
Yeah.
And brain. And I think it's something that, I mean, I have 8 and a 6-year-old in Connecticut, and they're doing it now. I got them rowing, so maybe someday one of them will get in a shell and go. I don't know. But for those of you who we haven't even mentioned this yet, the date might be helpful.
It might be.
It's on the 14th of July. The ultimate starts on the 13th. If people, some of you may well want to do the trip down to Manchester and then ride up and ride on Saturday with everybody else. But 14th is the main event. At any time that you want to start. I've seen the 5s and the 6s go off as often as I've seen 8s and 9s. So if you're going any distance, you want to do that. If it's a hot day, you really want to do that. But the Prouty.org is all you have to know on the web, and get on, find out how to register or donate to someone you know or to their team, and just, it's so worth it. I now work for Norris Cotton in a palliative care job, and I have never been so close to seeing what they're doing and how graciously and how beautifully they do it. And I can't say enough about it. Between that and the CHAD, you have plenty of opportunities to help DHMC. And what I learned last year when I was talking to the CHAD guys, that they don't turn a child away. And people think, oh, Dartmouth's rich, lots of money there. They're in the red. They don't make money on that basis by turning no one away, ever. And some of those people that they don't turn away are there for months. And it just eats up the budget. And they're happy it does, but it's still something that people should know, that they do need this money. I went to the kickoff dinner or party, and Mark Israel always has such a good, very polite, professional way of saying, we really need you to do this. We aren't this rich. We may be an affluent community, but the hospital itself gives a lot away. And this is something people really should know, because they aren't just sitting on piles of dough raking in more for this. The Prouty is the biggest thing that happens, and it's growing, and it should keep growing. And we all know how to make that happen. Tell your friends, those of you who are out there. Are you there? But by the time you see this show, I will get some pictures, whether you have any or any you want. If you have anything on the water, Jean has them. So you'll get some good pictures if you haven't seen them before, and you may have, but there are so many photographers out there that you probably haven't seen them all. You will get pictures of the water this time. Second year for the rowers, 31st year for the Prouty. 2.3 million, I think, is the goal this year, or 5.
No, last year they raised 2.5.
So it's
I think it's 2. It's a little more.
like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So, if we can keep making those numbers go up every year, we will have done what we're here for. So I'm so glad to see you guys here again. I'm so glad the water turned out to be such a success.
Yes, and it was a lot of
It
fun
really
for
did.
us. And
it was such a logical thing that was sort of staring at us.
Oh, definitely.
And it is a no-brainer when someone said, we can clear the roads a little and we can have some fun on the water, and you've got so many of us now that it would be a waste of good effort and energy. So look for the Prouty. Even if you're not going to do it, it's worth the trip up Route 10, the day of it, to see. We went out there before we were doing it ever. We drove out Route 10 for another reason, and we had to stop. We just were seeing little babies, baby packs, little cute families, and all just smiling and laughing. And then the big hardcores would go by them, but they'd all say hi to the kids on the way. And it was just, it's one of the most communal, I don't know how to describe it. I get very weird about it. But it's just, keep it in mind, July 14th, get on the website, theprouty.org. From there on in, you'll be guided right through the whole scene, whether you're donating, registering, both. Try to do both. I mean, it's fun to be a participant, but it also feels awfully good to give. So these guys know it, and not many don't anymore. So I guess I'm
Exactly.
nagging, but my kids say I'm good at that. So anyway, both of you, I'm so glad you came in, and I know there isn't a lot new going on, but I want every face of the Prouty to be on these shows we do so that they remember that the water, they have to bring their own
Yes.
everything. They
You need
they
to
can't
bring
just say, I'm
your
going to
boat."
join your team and be in your
Right.
boat.
Just
Doesn't happen
like
that way.
I like to say in response to that question, just like the Prouty doesn't provide bikes,
Amen.
we don't provide boats.
And
So-
and it would be a lot easier to provide bikes than it would boats. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's no small thing to own one and lug it around. So that's the only requirement is that you have your own plan of what you're going to be rowing. But try to get on the water because their numbers are going up, and we want to see that happen big time.
Thanks.
And you'll see these two out there.
Absolutely.
And you'll have a party at the bridge, and I think that's, if that nothing else has enticed you yet, the party at the bridge ought to, because they're going to have music.
We're going to have music.
Have you got that lined up yet? No,
Working
you
on it.
Can't mention it now. If I find out before the end of the party shows, I'll mention it.
Okay.
It'll be fun no matter what. And if you get it, and pray for a day like last year, that's another minor issue. And off we go again. It seems like a fast year since the last one, but
Oh,
Yeah.
completely.
Yes.
it really,
Yeah.
when I see how quickly, how early they start getting organized and sending out letters,
Yeah.
and you have to.
It's a
It-
year-round
you know,
organizational
it's 1,500 or so volunteers. I mean, it's a huge, huge deal. I mean, so much so that they have one woman basically. It's her whole job is the Prouty, and then delegates. But Jean Brown, just has an enormous job, and she's busy all the time. She's off somewhere touting it or explaining it or something. So, here we are. We're done. Another one of those fast half hours with two great people. But thank you all very much, and I hope you really will write July 14th on your calendar and get on the website, theprouty.org, and sign up and do it. You can walk. You can walk as little as 3 miles, 5, 10. You can do one of them twice if that isn't enough walking for you. You can go in the woods, you can go in the neighborhoods, you can go on the sidewalks, you can do anything you want on your feet. And the bikes, just get a bike tune-up, get going. And the water is everything's right there. Pick your activity and get with it. We'll look for all of you out there, all 6 of you. No, we know there are more of you out there. We're getting wonderful responses. But if you have any questions at all, just the Prouty has all the answers. There are people in those offices all day long that have always been helpful. I've blown a couple of registrations in my time, and they've been right on it and fixed it for me. So
Yes.
we hope we'll see a lot of you there, and tell your friends all over the place. The virtual Prouty exists. I had kids in Colorado doing it on their mountain bikes that day, and the people all over the world have joined in now through the virtual, so that's a big deal. So we thank you. I thank you so much for coming back
welcome.
in. I
Thanks
think
for
people
having
like
us.
to see the faces of the
Yeah.
rowers, because look, you don't stop smiling. So this is, there must be something there. Thank you all, and I'll put on Facebook and pass the word. You can put it all on your Facebook pages when this is going to be airing, and it won't be too long. It'll be in probably a week after this. So from now on, you'll see lots about the party. So until next time, thank you all for watching, and we'll have the Prouty website and my email up there so that you can ask questions or bug them or whatever you want to do. But thanks for watching, and I really appreciate you guys coming back in. It was a treat.
You're so
And
welcome.
you get to keep all the glitter. Goodbye until next time. Thanks for watching.